Well, Blood Angels fans, I am unhappy to report to you, we finally have come up to the end of the Blood Angels Horus Heresy line with the release of Raldoron. Oh, it appears that we are not quite done yet, because in May, there is going to be the release of Dominion Zephon. But I digress because we have more important matters in our hands right now, which is the review of the first captain of the Blood Angels, which is Raldoron, and we shall see exactly what this is made up of. Raldoron does not come with a helmet option, but I do believe that this heroic bear head does more than enough to do the heavy lifting for this particular area. I really like the determined look on his face, and the expression really suits him well as a captain. This determined look also comes with a bunch of facial features. I like the added touch of the mohawk and these two metal studs on the forehead. Now this gorget right here on the armor is clearly more about function over form. The problem is that for us collectors, if you want to pose this heroic figure with his face looking straight at you, this is exactly what you see. This protective piece of armor blocks most of his face, but I find this blockage to be quite off-putting and really detracts from the overall aesthetic of this action figure. Draped on Raldoron's shoulders are these two standout pauldrons. I like this one on the right-hand side because of the edge shading that is going on the outside of these shoulder pads. I'm a fan of this visual look of this armor being darker on the outside and then gradually migrating to a very bright red center. However, the left pauldron looks even better than the right one due to the gratuitous amount of spice to it. I love how there's so much texture and detail that your eyes are naturally drawn to this region. But apparently, JoyToy decided to go back to these floppy pauldrons, which again, I'm not a big fan of. I wish that they would fully commit to either changing to a stiffer piece of plastic that can perform, or just do a version 4 pauldron. The arms lose a bit of flavor, but at least there are some golden rivets and some golden outlining to give an otherwise plain region some added spice. I am relieved that the broad chest of this captain is highly decorated, just like the individual, this red gem on one side, and then the gold skull on the other, with the cords at the center, really binds together the look of this region. As a whole, there's a ton of dimension and detail with the shaded edges of the armor migrating to that brighter red. This waist region is blocked by a very large piece of armor that extends down. When you lift this part up, there is no buckle underneath. And because I lifted this part too much, it broke, so I'm gonna have to glue it back together later. While this area does not have a buckle, there are other spicy elements, such as this highly detailed and texturized frag grenade. Now, this may be a first for us, but I thought that this green crack grenade was some other grenade that the 30k legions cooked up, but it's, well, just a very colorful green crack grenade. Around the back, Raldoron sports highly textured pack of pouches, as well as a holstered bolt pistol. I'm a big fan of the texturing on the holster, and it gives you the sense of realism of the leather. The upper thighs of this action figure is likely the least decorated of this place, but it still comes with a good amount of decoration for a Space Marine. I'm a big fan of this gold outlining on the edges of the armor. Then you can see the shading around the gold areas, which help with the flavor too. Then you get to the knee and shin area where you get an explosion of delicious umami flavor with this very shiny red metallic blood tier and this rather elaborate death mask type icon. Clearly the right shin comes with a lot of studs, adding a textural sensation that is ribbed for my pleasure. The rear of this action figure does not have that much going on with it. However, I have to say that the backpack that Raldoron comes with is quite exquisite. The golden iron halo stands out prominently atop the backpack. I like how the backpack flows with the whole aesthetic of the action figure, and the design at the center also flows well with the icon on the left shin too. This Incarmine Warblade is quite a unique looking power sword with the painting that JoyToy has given it. You will notice that the blade itself is a dark gunmetal that is found on most power swords, but what sets this one apart is that it has an electric blue glow on the edges of the blade, which I think is an insanely good take. The words are also engraved into the body of the sword, giving it more depth of flavor. The final thing that I'll touch on is this hilt of the sword, which we have all seen the Blood Angels chapter symbol being used at the hilt, But what makes this one of a kind is that this hilt sports double wings for an added angelic look. Accompanying the sword is a piece of U-shaped gum or a polishing cloth. It is a flexible piece of plastic that you can see a gratuitous amount of blood kind of dripping off of it. But I find that the color choice that is used for the blood to be strange, with it being a bright pink and then, weirdly enough, tapering off to this white. And finally, we have this combi flamer. It is nicely put together with an excellent color distribution. This is a lot more extravagant than your regular 40k combi weapon, with no less than 5 different colors on it. Everything on this is put together in a compact and bite-sized form. I feel as if this gun needs a little added depth, especially in this region right here. There should be some muzzle burn at the end of the flamer. I also wanted to point out to you all that this magazine is removable, as you can see right here, and that this shoulder strap is also removable, as you can see right here. With regards to movement, Raldoron does not have any kind of inhibition of movement, which is once again great for action figures, as this allows for maximum posability. I originally thought this elongated piece of armor was going to block the rotation, but JoyToy has cleverly given Raldoron a taller than average torso region right here. Speaking of taller than average, it is size comparison time, in which you all love to see. This is Raldoron clearly standing next to a Crimson Paladin, but for all you lore lovers, I think this is going to set your size OCD ablaze with righteous fury. Putting this Primaris Marine next to Raldoron, you see an extreme size disparity. All 30k Marines are firstborn, and lore-wise, they are supposed to be shorter than their Primaris brothers, but this is clearly the opposite of that case, which, I'll be honest with you, I am not a fan of. In fact, it would appear that JoyToy has adopted a full-on Space Marine 2 heroic scaled figure, because when you put Titus next to the captain, you will notice that they are the exact same size. In videos past, I have shown you all that this leg area is where the size discrepancy is, and putting them side by side, the legs, unfortunately, are actually the same length. Well, Blood Angels enjoyers, I would have to say that Raldoron is a very excellent action figure, and let's just start off with the only negative that I pointed out during the review, which is the gorget. I'm not too much of a fan of it because it clearly blocks the face of Raldoron. However, that is, again, just a nitpicky detail. I find the rest of this elevated Space Marine to be quite sublime looking, especially with all the decorations and the gold outlining that pervades all throughout the action figure. So the question is this action figure worth your money? And I would have to say yes, he is an awesome looking special character that I think that all Blood Angels fans should have to fill out their army. So if you are inclined to buy this action figure, please click in the link in the description below, or you will be brought to David Toys. They are the purveyor of plastic crack, where I get all of my action figures, and I cannot say enough great things about them. Their website is very easy to navigate and very nicely designed. Before you check out, do not forget to input the code SNS to receive 12% off on your action figure purchases. So members of the chapter, as well as potential members of the chapter, I thank you for watching this review video. Your likes, comments, as well as subscribes are very much appreciated and helps this channel keep going. With that being said, I'll see you all in the next one.